Hi everyone, Chris here from IELTS Advantage with another VIP success story. Today we have Camilo. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Camilo. I'm sure I
Yeah.
am. But today he is going to share his success with you guys. He recently got a band 9 in listening, a band 8 in reading, 7.5 in speaking, and 7 in writing.
Right.
And he is going to share his success with you guys so that you can learn from him. So Camilo, can you start off just by introducing yourself to everyone?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Camilo. I'm a Colombian civil engineer, and I really needed to pass the IELTS test because I want to move to Canada very soon.
Excellent. So can you tell us a little bit about your IELTS journey? So how many times did you do the test? What scores were you getting? That type of thing?
Well, yeah, I only took the test twice. Like
Mhm,
the first time was last November,
mhm,
and I failed because of my speaking. I got 6.5 in speaking,
mhm,
but the 7 in writing, which is like the most difficult part of the test, I believe.
mhm.
And because of the pandemic, like it's doing everything slower, I just took my time to practice like as much as I could before taking the test again.
Mhm.
And so I took the test for the second time last 11th of June, and I got the scores that I needed. It was kind of difficult at the beginning to start studying because it's like so difficult to find like reliable information on the internet. Like
Mhm.
every website you visit tells you like a different thing. So yeah, it was kind of challenging. And I realized that at the beginning I was doing like practice tests with fake questions.
Yep.
They were like so difficult. I At the beginning I thought that the IELTS test was something impossible to pass,
Yeah.
and it was because of that. But after I got some reliable information and I saw like some of the free videos you posted before, and I started like getting more confidence about the test and just getting reliable information.
Mhm.
And my IELTS journey got much easier after finding that information.
Yeah, I think those are two of the main problems for students is unreliable information and then fake questions.
Yeah,
So it's a difficult test, but those two things make it even more difficult. And it's unusual that the fake questions are always really difficult. I don't know
yeah.
why they make them so difficult, but maybe they think that if people see they're difficult, they'll think they're good or something. I don't
I
know.
don't know, but maybe they've just never taken the test before. Like me,
Probably.
before taking the test for the first time, I
Probably.
thought that the level required to pass it was like extremely high,
Yeah.
and that's not the case.
No. No, it's as you probably heard me say a million times, it's about simplifying everything and
Yeah,
making it as simple as possible. So let's focus on speaking because that's the one that you went from 6.5 to 7.5 in
yeah.
speaking, which is a huge jump. So what were the key reasons we identified why you were getting a 6.5?
Well, I think that the first reason was that I was speaking like at an unnatural pace,
Yeah,
like every word at a time,
yeah,
and I wasn't connecting the words properly.
yeah.
I think that affected my fluency a lot. And like I hadn't done, I believe, as much practice as I could. And you guys from the course suggested me to get a speaking buddy,
Mhm.
and I believe that helped me a lot because I could practice with him like 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think that helped me like massively.
yeah, yeah. Though definitely the speaking buddy system is really good. Was that another guy from Colombia?
No, he is from Nepal, but he
Oh,
lives in
really?
Canada. Yeah,
Oh, he's in Canada. I was
yeah.
wondering.
So
The time zone is quite different. So were there
yeah,
so apart from practice and speaking at a natural pace, were there any other things that you were doing wrong that led to you getting a 6.5?
well, yes, I think that I was trying too hard with vocabulary. yeah, I was trying like to use some very nice words every once in a while. And I realized after a time in the course that for getting a 7, it's all about accuracy. You don't need like big words to get a 7. You just need to be accurate.
Mhm.
So I just focused on answering the questions, and I just didn't worry about grammar or vocabulary or anything, and that helped me a lot.
Yes, it's because they what they want to test is when you move to Canada and you're working as an engineer, can you communicate with the other people in your team and even the native Canadian engineers? Most of the words that they will use when you're talking about engineering will not be high level fancy words. The
Yeah,
majority of them will be simple words, and there might be a few technical engineering words. I don't know. I'm an idiot when it comes to engineering, so I don't know. But if you had, 3 engineers discussing a project and you analyzed all the words that they spoke in 10 minutes, 95% of those words will be simple words. There might be a
yeah,
few technical topic specific words in there, but most of them will be simple. So that's really good advice.
yeah, yeah. And I believe that that's the main thing that I learned in the course. I just to make things simple and not to
Mhm.
worry like too much about grammar or vocabulary.
Yeah.
If you're just accurate, that's enough.
Yeah, because if you think about how difficult your job was before you learned how to do things properly, like you had all this confusing information that you're being taught, fake questions,
Yeah,
trying to use really complex grammar and vocabulary. I couldn't do that, and I teach IELTS for a
yeah,
living. I couldn't do that. It's just too complex. So it's just about all like eliminating the complex things and getting you to focus on the simple things. So I want you to imagine you were speaking to yourself 6 months ago and you
yeah.
were struggling with the speaking test. What practical advice would you give yourself 6 months ago?
Well, well, first, just to stay like calm and focus on your studies. Like you don't need to practice like that much, I believe, but every time you practice, you need to be like really focused on
Hmm.
what you're studying. Because I used to study only 1 hour a day. I started like waking up 1 hour earlier in the mornings, and I just studied for 1 hour, and that was enough. But I was completely focused like on my studies.
Hmm.
So I think like that's the key. And on test day, just trust yourself,
Yeah.
because you've done like a lot of practice and you're ready for the test. And I think that's something that happened to me the first time that I took the test. I got like a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was also because it was the first time that I took the test. And I think that really affected my performance. But if you really trust in what you've been studying, and you trust in yourself, you're going to make it.
Yeah, I think that trusting in yourself is a really important point to make because
Yeah,
a lot of the stuff that you'll see about IELTS online is telling people don't trust yourself. Your
yeah,
vocabulary is not good enough. You need to make it more complex. Your grammar is not good enough. You need to learn all of these fancy structures. And
yeah,
what we do is a complete opposite, which is your vocabulary and grammar are probably fine the way they are. Trust in your own ability and do these simple things, and then you can get the score that you need. So, it's no wonder you were nervous in your first
yeah,
your first test because you're dealing with all of these obstacles. I imagine if you're an engineer trying to build a bridge, but there's all of these extra obstacles that
yeah.
you come across when you don't need any of those things.
Yeah, yeah, and on top of that, most of us has like a lot of pressure from, I don't know, family or
Yep.
friends to pass the test,
Yeah.
and it's also a kind of expensive test,
Yep.
so you just want to take it once. Yeah, so that also plays a role there.
Yeah, what we say here in this country when we're doing our driving test was like when we're 17 or 18 is like, don't tell any family or friends you're doing the
Yeah,
test
yeah,
because
that's actually what I did.
yeah,
Yeah, I just went out like a normal day and I took my test without telling anyone, and
yeah.
that made me feel like so much calmer. Yeah,
Yeah, because we work with some people who their whole family is relying on them to get the score that they need so they can move to a different country. And like
yeah,
that is so much pressure. And their family are saying you need to do the test in 3 weeks. Or
yeah,
like that's just too much pressure, you know. So
yeah,
anyone watching, keep it quiet, you know, don't tell anyone.
yeah,
That's really good advice.
yeah. And sometimes your family like don't do it in a bad way,
No,
but
no, no, no.
yeah, but you just don't want to disappoint them because
Yeah.
they're expecting so much from you.
And often
Uh,
the person doing the test is like the best at English in that family. So the
yeah,
family are like, "Oh, you're great at English. You'll
yeah,
pass this test, no problem." And the person's like, "Okay," you know. You know?
yeah. And the IELTS is not just like an English test. You really like need to get to know the test,
Yeah,
how it works, and how every part of the test is, and to understand it properly in order to pass it.
yeah, absolutely. It's not only an English test. It is an IELTS technique test, a communications test. There's so many little things that you need to be aware of. Like there's a lot of native English speakers who try to take the test and they don't do very well because they answer the questions in the wrong way. So yeah,
Yeah,
anyone who's quite good at English and is maybe overconfident, normally they don't do so well because they don't appreciate the different techniques and stuff like that.
yeah. And I've noticed that many people think that they are already good enough to take the test.
Yeah,
And for example, on test day, I spoke with like to the rest of the participants, and most of them like didn't study for the test. They
yeah,
just went to take the
yeah.
test, and that was like, yeah, that really surprised me.
Yeah, you shouldn't tell people on test day like, "Oh, I bought a VIP course." They'll be like,
Yeah,
"What?" Yeah,
yeah,
no, the general timeline is most people do it once because the first time they do it, they're like, "Oh, it's just a general English test. I'll be fine." Then they
yeah,
fail it. Then they go online and try and find tips and tricks. They don't work. So they
yeah,
fail the second time. And then the third time, a lot of people think that, oh, I need to make my language more complex. So they'll go to a teacher who teaches them that complex language and then they'll fail again. And then it's like, oh, I hate this test.
yeah,
When really, if you just did what you did, learn a simple strategy that works and get feedback and things like that, then you don't need to throw away all this money on it.
yeah,
It's like $250 these days, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's not a small amount of money. So thank you so much, Camilo. I really appreciate your time and your advice and some great advice for students. And I wish you the best of luck in Canada. And if you need any help in the future, don't be afraid to get in touch, and we'll help you out as much as we can.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. It was great to be on your course. Yeah,
Thank you
thank
very
you
much.
very much for everything.
Thank you, Camilo.
Yeah, bye bye.
Hey, Chris here again. Hopefully you enjoyed that success story video. That student was part of our IELTS VIP course. And on that course, we show students exactly where they're going wrong and exactly what to do to get the score that they need. And we give them all the help and support that they need in order to get a 7, 8, or even 9 in their IELTS test. Now, we only work with a really small number of students. Because of the level of help and feedback and support that we give students, we can only work with a very small number of them. But we also have more success stories than any other online or offline course in the world, which has created a huge amount of demand for our course. So we're the only course in the world, I believe, that has a very long waiting list. If you want to join that waiting list, all you have to do is just click here and you'll be able to add your name, add your email address, and then when one of our students becomes successful and leaves the course, the next position can be for you. Hopefully see you in there. Bye-bye.